Hello, hello, hello. I'm not in a studio, so my lighting is crazy. I only have this ring light, and I'm glowing even worse. You would think with just a ring light, it would not be quite as bad, but it is. I don't know if I can fix it or not. I just don't know. But anyway, hello, 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 and welcome to Dear Dana. As you can tell, I am not in my normal location. The reason being, my husband kidnapped me. Yes, he did. He kidnapped me. He told me that he was going to take me somewhere to be prepared. He was taking me somewhere on Friday to pack up my stuff, and he would not tell me the location. Now, for most people, that may be something, maybe that's a little better, to be leery about. Maybe they would want to take you in the woods and put you in a hole. Just don't know. But thankfully for me, he planned a nice getaway to de stress me, to help me get out of my normal environment, to let us reconnect, to romance me a little bit. And he has. I have loved every minute of it. I'm exhausted a little bit. He took me to a replica of a Bavarian German town, a place where they do actually shoot a lot of the Hallmark movies. Is it a stage? No, it's not. It's actually a very lovely place that is like this all the time, 365 days of the year. Hallmark just takes advantage of the fact that it is that way. So, anyway, we're having our own Hallmark moment. He even got me. I already had one ring, but my engagement ring, my diamond fell out months ago. I lost the diamond. I found the diamond. It hasn't been fixed yet. But he got me a ring while we were here. So it's just to take the place until my other ring's fixed. But I thought that was very sweet. But girl, guys, I am worn out because we've done a lot of walking and sightseeing and just doing different things I'm not used to doing, but I've loved every minute of it. But that being said, welcome to Dear Dana. I see you in the bushes. See you in the bushes. I see everybody that is starting to file in. Virginia Woolf, J.C. Bear, James Pruitt, everybody that's normally here. And I'm happy to see you all. Yeah, don't be distressed. James Virginia Woolf stepped up his game. Now my wife is looking at me like, take me on a romantic. Uh, I'm popping it up so I can see better. That didn't sound right, did it? Oh, you're not hiding in the bushes this time. That's good. Where did I say it? Now Virginia's talking to JC. And see, I didn't bring my mouse either. I'm not used to tapping along on this keyboard. Take me on a romantic getaway. He did it. It's a real quickie. Oh, that didn't sound right either, did it? It's a Friday afternoon and we're leaving tomorrow in the morning. So it's a real rollover because he has to be back at work. And I'll probably have to recuperate for a couple of days because um, with MS and a lot of walking, I can move in different directions real good for 30 minutes, but that continual walking, ooh, it gets me. But it's beautiful here, and I'll show you all a few pictures in a little bit. Um, but the Chattahoochee runs through it right out my door here on the balcony. because this is more like a little condo. There are rocks and water, and people will go tubing or whitewater rafting or fly fishing, just like in the movies. Um, I can hear the water trickle down when I open the door. It's real picturesque. The mountains are, you can see the mountains behind you because we're at the foothill of the mountains. It's gorgeous. It's really gorgeous. And there, if you go to some of the restaurants, people are dressed in German clothes or the Fräuleins or whatever. I'm not sure the proper wording, are dressed in the German garb, the dresses, some of them, serving steins of beer and sausage and kraut and all of that stuff. But then you have international foods if you want them. And all the quaint little shops are like you are in a Bavarian town, literally built that way, not just the front of them. And you will have, you can hear people playing on the guitar and singing legit. Some have lederhosen, but legitimate. It sounds like from the movies, playing their guitars and singing. It sounds like you're in a Hallmark movie. Um, it's a real beautiful thing. So, be that as it may, let me drop that intro. I'm so lost without my mouse and my other stuff. See, look, I barely have any light, and I still glow. What is a woman to do? I'm telling you, I have got my ring light pointed down, facing the desk. I have a problem, y'all. Anyway, here's the intro. Do, 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 do. Ba, ba. Oh, yeah. All right. So here we go. And the other part to tonight is the boys light up. Yes, they do. Waiting for more people to file in. Yes, the outfits are very nice. Yes, they are. Except some of the guys weren't wearing their outfits. And I was like, hey, guys, the girls are wearing their outfits. How come you're not wearing your outfits? And a couple of guys said, well, we can if we want, but we don't have to. I was like, what's with that? He was like, well, I'll probably wear mine tomorrow, the young guy. And I was like, yeah, right, you'll wear yours tomorrow. I bet you will. I have it queued up a little bit. At one German restaurant we went today, there was a cat, and I thought the cat was just hungry. And it kept coming up to me. And I thought, oh, poor thing, I'll give it some food. Here is this cat. Look at this cat. So I was going to give the poor cat some food. Don't know what the cat's name was. This was outdoors. This cat did not want food. All this cat wanted was me to love on her. Him, her. I tried to give it food. Let's see. But no, she kept coming up to me for love. Did not want food. This was at the restaurant. I was like, I'll give you some love. So That was pretty cool. That cat did not want food. She just kept coming up to me wanting uh, love. Now, I wasn't really hungry at lunch. So the guy recommended some kind of pretzel, beer battered pretzel with cheese. I could not eat the whole thing. Um, a good half to two-thirds I left behind. So Stephen had this big meal, which I'll show you in a minute. But this was a pretzel. I'd never had one. I think JC Bear will appreciate it. I thought it would be some pretzel that was hard, but no. I'll show you Stephen's meal, JC Bear. Can I make it go down? No, I can't. I hope you can see it. Anyway, that is Stephen's meal. German meal. I don't know what all of it was, but you might. That was his German meal. Stephen said they need a real German cook. Here's some of the falls. I won't bore you with all of it. I'll quickly show you some of the things, though, so you can get an idea. That's a little bit of the town. I want to see if I can show you the mountains. I don't know if I can or not. This is part of the town at night. You might recognize some of it from a Hallmark movie. I don't know. It's always lit up, not just on holidays. See? Anybody who's seen a Hallmark movie, you might recognize it. Always lit up. Chattahoochee River. Anyway, I won't continue to bore you, but just wanted to give you a little sneak peek. And this is a view from my room. But that was a nice surprise. Yes, I was a nervous wreck. Him not telling me where we were going. It's a good thing he loves me, because otherwise women would be very scared if they thought their husband didn't love them, right? Oh, it froze up? Yes, it is a two-fisted pretzel. Yeah, the video was pixelated because I had not plugged into Wi-Fi. I didn't know I had to do that. Hey, Universal Tea with Marie. Yeah, my husband kidnapped me and took me on an adventure to get me away. And he did that because I am in the mist. I have decided, since I have come out of the mist of grief, I've thought long and hard, and I want to start a foundation for called Noah's Ark, Special Things for Special Needs. And it has made me, I know you guys knew that I had stalled some of my career as a psychotherapist, even though I still help some old clients. I had stalled some of it and gone out of the brick and mortar because I'd had to do a lot of care for Noah before he passed. Thank you. My husband kidnapped me, took me on a journey. Anyway, but I didn't know if I'd ever go back to full time doing it. And I want to do the foundation. So, hello, Gabrielle. So, I have decided to focus on going into private practice, which means I have got to go back and study up for licensure again. So I've been under a lot of stress. And he felt sorry for me because I've been under such high stress since I made that decision. Because it is a lot. Anyway, so before we go further, tonight is guys' night. And the guys light it up and they are ready to answer any questions that you women may want to throw at them. So, as our guys host tonight, we have Mr. J.C. Bear and we have Shoeless One Steve. Have we seen him? Is he up here? Did I see him? I think he said he's almost ready. His uh his nana had a fall. His nana had a fall. He is coming on tonight. She slipped and hit her head. And she's back home, thank God. But there he is. So prayers for Nana. And here's Shoeless One. So I'm going to drop the link. And they're going to light up the screen and take over. God bless them. God bless them. Dun 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 dun. It's guys, light up. We're going to make this a regular thing. Please let me drop the link. I'm telling you, my time on my computer, no, not on my computer, on StreamYard. On StreamYard, none of my, it's giving me GMT, which is making it so difficult to do anything on StreamYard, and I can't get it fixed. It will not fix. Okay, let me see. I may have to call Steven. I swear. He has gone outside. He tried to set me up in here. Okay, there it goes. There's the link. Finally, dropping the link. JC Bear and Steve. But prayers to Nana, Steve Shoeless One, and we're dropping the link. JC Bear and Steve Shoeless One. The guys light it up. And if girls, you're in the bushes, come on up and throw them some questions in the chat. Ask them anything from how guys think to why they think certain ways. Hey, JC Bear.
Hey, how is everyone?
Good, good, good.
So you got kidnapped on a romantic getaway with the hubby.
Yes, it stressed me out so bad because he did. Look, he did not tell me where we were going till I drove into the city and I recognized it.
Well, that's not a bad thing.
No. But he's been so loving and sweet. He's probably told me he's loved me half a dozen times a day and been all sweetie and kissy.
Mm-hmm. So that's the only reason you're tired is all that walking and seeing the
Yeah,
scenes and the sights.
actually, truly, yeah. Because it's beautiful here, but look, the beds and the room is beautiful, but the beds,
Mm-hmm.
let me tell
And that
you,
balcony is nice to have, like maybe some champs late at night.
we haven't seen any champagne. Look, it's a beer city.
Well, it's the beer champagnes. You can have the champagne of beers there then.
I actually rarely ever drink. Thank you, Universal Tea with Marie. Look, by the way, if you ever get a chance, please go check out Universal Tea with Marie. She has some great topics.
Very cool. Now, we know that he's giving you some TLC and a respite from stress.
Yeah, because he felt sorry for me because I just finally decided if I'm going to do the foundation and all that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
I probably need to for private practice. And after thinking I would never do it again, and especially at this age, going for private practice is
Oh,
huge.
especially at this age. Hello, I finished my degree only 5 years ago. I still did it.
I didn't think about that. I didn't know
But
you did that
don't it,
5 years ago.
yeah, I finally finished. I graduated in 2018, but don't ever make a just because of an age stop what you want to do.
Well, I mean, I've always worked under the hospital, under Tanner Behavioral Health, under, um, somebody else's thing.
Hmm.
Never by myself.
Yeah, no, it's a little scary when you go out and you're doing either consulting or going it alone or so forth.
And now I've
But
got to go back for licensure. And because you have to do your own insurance, your own, and you have to. I was out of the loop because of taking care of Noah for it's been a few years now, right? And I've got to do a 4 hour licensure exam.
hmm, pass your boards. Got to pass your board exam.
Yeah, so
You'll do it.
yeah, I know it's just been a long time since I've had to do it.
You're just rusty. It'll be fine. You will do it.
Ugh.
It's a pain, but yes, same thing
But
with
I've had,
any.
I didn't have MS back then,
Yeah,
so
so
yeah,
you did a
scary.
lot of things. You did a lot of things since you've had it.
Yeah.
So this is just one other thing that you'll do. It's simple
Yeah, I
as
know.
that.
I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. I
Yeah.
didn't have it then, but look, I'm still not stupid, so
Oh, I never thought that you were stupid to begin with, or we shouldn't even say stupid. I know you'll do it. You
I'm
just
just
have,
rusty.
yeah, that's all it is. Sitting down and taking an exam is just rusty if you haven't done it, and it can be intimidating for a lot of people
Yeah,
when
just
you
rusty.
haven't done it. Yeah.
It's been a few years, so I can
Just
do
pretend
this.
when you're doing the exam, you're on YouTube and somebody's asking you those situational questions.
I mean, I've done it. I know all of it. It's just been. Look. I took a practice test the other night because it's been so. Look, it's been years. Let's say over a decade,
Hmm.
way over a decade, and I still made a B. So,
Hmm.
uh, but
Yeah,
I get stress anxiety. Anyway, let's another subject.
true.
On the downside, real quick, and you probably already saw it. Naomi Judd took her life.
Oh my, that's what I've seen some pictures and all that, but I didn't go in to read the headlines or anything like that. So,
Yeah, I don't know how, but she took her life, and her daughter said due to mental illness.
oh wow, wow, I did not know.
What just happened? Did you see that spinny thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
So
wow,
anyway, yeah, she took her life, and they were about to receive a big award, the Judds.
oh wow.
So, with everything going on between Johnny Depp and mm, Amber
Hmm.
Heard, and now this happening, everything that it needs to be a big spotlight on it.
Oh wow.
So now to the fun. Now let's slip to the fun.
Yes.
Facts. The guys light up. Ladies, come out of the bushes. Start asking the questions.
Well, us men, we do need TLC too.
Yeah. Oh, good question. Let me tell you. With the whole Johnny Depp thing, your opinions. I'm so glad it's bringing it to the forefront. Hey, Shelly Marie, that men can actually be victims of this.
Hmm. Oh yeah. I told, it all. You see, here's the thing. We are in an age whereby, and this is no disrespect, but women are empowered to report and to express more of when they're of their DV, or when someone is verbally or physically abusive to them. They're
Yeah.
far more empowered now than they were in the past. Men have never, like, this is going to come out wrong, but if you're a male and you've been subjected to that type of abuse from what I've seen, and especially if it's from a female, you it seems wrong for you to express it. It's somehow you're less than if you've been a victim of it. So that's where I think part of society has to change, because if it's with another guy, it's a different type of thing. But if you're saying that you've been abused or victimized by a female, it's kind of like you feel kind of like, well, maybe I was deserving of it because I didn't stand up for myself or I allowed it to happen, that type of thing.
Right.
I don't know, Shoeless.
I
What's
think,
your
yeah. Look, I remember going back probably about probably good 10 years ago, and you could be around a group of guys, and someone would bring up saying, "Oh, this is what's going on at home," and all the rest like that, and without even thinking about it, if you're in say a group of say 15 guys, um, one of them's going to pipe up and go, "Oh, can I have some of that then?" People, there's a lot of guys that are out there that will sit there and try to make another guy look like he is an inferior being because he may be in a scenario where a female is dominant, and so for a lot of guys, I agree. It's easier not to say a cracker because you're either frowned upon from your older generation family members, because guys don't cry, guys don't speak their mind, guys don't do anything. But when you speak up saying that your partner is abusive or anything like that, um, as I said, even your mates will turn around and give you hell. So I totally agree.
yeah,
Yeah.
Totally agree.
it's the same thing with same-sex partners. You don't think domestic violence, well, first of all, it was never really recognized as DV among same-sex partners legally until, oh, maybe 20 years ago, that you could actually charge somebody that you were in a relationship with. And you'd get very weird looks. It's like, why, as another guy, if you're involved with another guy and they've been abusive, well, why didn't you fight back? Or why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? Like, there's that whole thing of certain expectations when you're a guy in masculinity, that you're not going to take that type of guff. And it happens in all sorts of relationships, not just same-sex ones, but heterosexual relationships and so forth.
Mm.
If you're the guy, then you're supposed to be able to control it, or you're supposed to be able to resolve it, not just, allow yourself to be victimized by it. So I think this is a really good thing, the Johnny Depp case, and how it's showing that it doesn't matter. You could be, a famous star, have all the money in the world, do whatever you go wherever you want, be and still be a victim of it.
Yeah.
And, not all, not everything is going to be honky dory. So I think this will be good. I think it can open up a lot of conversations that would never be heard or seen before.
100%. Because I got to think, everybody's like, oh, we're having to listen to this. This is about their marriage, blah, blah, blah. I get it on that level. But the fact that he's actually fighting it, not just for the derogatory statements, not just to get his reputation back, but the underlying point of, if he wins this, which I think he will, and so many people look up to him, not just actors, not just in that field, but just across the board in society, guys, okay, for all these decades, not just women, guys.
Mhm.
if they see that he was brave enough and transparent and genuine enough to take it to this point to say, yeah, man, this happened to me. And I did cry. And I did go to the bathroom. And I did try to get away. And I did fall apart. And I am gutting myself open. Because, I mean, he has like let him tell him, yeah, I abused alcohol. And I abused this. And I said this. I mean, laying it all out, right? Because he's like, what else can they do to me?
Hmm.
In order to admit my mom was like this, who I loved. I mean, he's gone there. And he loved his mom in spite of. And he saw the humanity behind. She did the best she could because this is what she knew. But she was an evil SOB. So it made him recognize that he was sort of drawn to it in her and had to get away. So the pieces of everything he's sharing, people can understand how he got wrapped up in it. So I'm hoping that it will give men bravery that have been in that situation to finally admit it's happening to them.
Hmm. And without shame. See, that's the other part of it is that if you are on the receiving end of it and you're male, there's a certain amount of yourself that feels shameful that you allowed yourself to get into that situation. Because how
Right,
could you? Because for the long time, and this is no disrespect, but for the long time, only female voices have been heard, and finally have been heard loudly enough over the last 5 to 7 years, but
longer.
or longer, and that's a great thing. But male voices haven't because there's a lot of, I guess, internal shame to admit it, and that's the part that has to be kind of minimized or eliminated. That there is no shame if you are on the receiving end of being a victim of someone, regardless of
Right.
who the person is. But that's part of rethinking about what truly being a masculine male is or masculinity is that it's not the, oh, you just have to suck it up, or or this is just, how could you let yourself get into that situation? Like you're a guy, you should have nipped it in the bud, or you should have reacted this way or that way. But a lot of people, like we said before, we don't know what happens when those doors close at night in someone's home. We could, leave a party or leave a barbecue. We really don't know what goes on when we leave and we're on our way to our own home. What's happening in their family or respective families.
Yeah. I mean, and you're raised to real human beings do not wish to harm. I'm not saying that people that harm other people aren't human beings.
Well, I think she's just gone blank on us.
And
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You froze up a bit there.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So when you are in a situation like you're raised in, um, violent situations, and you come out of it when you're raised in it, it does one of
yeah.
two things typically. It either makes you more empathic and feeling and humble and gentle and wanting to treat people more kindly, right, and help others, or it makes you a protagonist of violence. So you see, Johnny on the one hand wants to be kind and help others and do things, and that's been his history. And Amber's been a protagonist. That's because she grew up in a situation where her father perpetuated violence.
Okay.
So you've got one of each here.
Which can easily
And
feed off of
generally, we
each
get
other.
attracted to our to one of our parents as well when we get into relationships. They say so. He may have been drawn to certain aspects of her, and unfortunately, didn't see the whole big picture of what he was getting at the same time. That
Uh
makes
oh.
sense.
Are we breaking up because of me?
Mhm.
I don't know.
I can hear Shoeless clearly. I can hear you clearly.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So no, so basically, like and I've had this discussion with so many people over the years that we always seem to get drawn to people that were like one of our parents, and if you've in a lot of situations, it's always the dominant parent. So like in my growing up, I grew up in that scenario.
You're breaking
Great
up,
example.
Steve.
Is it me?
No, I can hear Steve fine.
Yeah, okay. But no, like when I was growing up as a kid,
You might want
I
to
grew up.
break down and come back.
It's not me, is it, John?
No, I can hear Shoeless
Or is it
fine.
Yeah,
is it me?
It
might be
has
you.
it has to
Might
be
be you.
you. You.
That's okay as long as you're there. At
What?
least it
No,
still keeps going, so it's
this
okay.
one.
But so nice. So like as I was saying, it's like you know, my growing up was quite a challenging and in some respects it was quite violent. A great example is when I was probably about 5 or 6. There was my father had this favourite willow tree which is in the backyard, and he was complaining all the time that he could see ants running up and down his tree. And this one day I came home from school and I sat there looking at my dad's tree, and I noticed that there was a crack in a part of the timber. I've gone, I wonder if that's where the ants are hiding. So I ran to the shed and I grabbed a screwdriver and a hammer, and I started chipping a hole out in the actual bark so I could actually see where the ants were. And I found this massive big nest, and I got really excited. So I waited for Dad to come home. It was about 5:30 at night, and Dad, grabbed Dad's hand, rushed him outside to the willow tree out the backyard. I found the ants. I found the ants, Dad. And my dad loved his tree so much. He said to me, "Oh, how did you make the hole?" And I said, "Oh," and I picked up from the ground the hammer and the screwdriver. And so the next thing you know, Dad grabbed it and started hitting me with them. And so it was like a thing, don't touch anything of my stuff. That was the way I was brought up. So when I was growing up in my teens and stuff, like we're saying about with Johnny Depp, he's obviously chosen a softer approach with people, a more empathic path, because it's safer. It's safer to help people than what it is to be aggressive and knowing that you're hurting people. But you have to make that choice.
Yeah.
So, so that's so I totally understand where he's come from, because I've lived that. So it's pretty important that I suppose my big thing that I'm just hopeful for that out of this whole thing is that, yes, as you were saying before, JC, about that this will give platforms and forums for people to be able to actually feel like it's safe to talk about their physical and their emotional scars and stuff. Um, but I really hope, and this is just me being hopeful, because I don't believe for him it's about the money, but obviously there's going to be money involved, and I just really hope that maybe with that money he can set up an organisation that can actually help males actually start to deal with this sort of stuff, because we need to get this pendulum swing back to being centered, so males and females alike can know that it's safe to discuss their feelings, and knowing that there are safe boundaries for both sexes. It's crucial, for from a human perspective, to know that it's safe in today's society with so much technology and so much instant in your face gratification from all sides of every angle. We've got to get a balance in this sooner or later. So,
W- Yeah, I mean, I've seen it swing to which is valid, which I think should have been created a long time ago, like female only spaces. I think LGBTQ only spaces, and so forth. But I think the fallacy in that is that everybody thinks that men will say and speak whatever they want to, wherever they want to, and that's not the case.
nah, not at all.
You're not
Absolutely
going,
not.
yeah, but that's the fallacy that's been brought forward, that men are going to automatically feel comfortable if Shoeless One and I were over and out at a bar, we're gonna express our feelings to each other if we're going through something, or if we're in a locker room after a workout, that we're somehow going to open up to each other because we're men and we're going to be able to say wherever we want and whatever we want. Total
Um,
fallacy. That's a total fallacy. We're not going to talk about our innermost feelings or stuff that is bothering us, or maybe a situation that we're in that we want to get out of anywhere that we want to, just because we're male. So I think the possibility of having, yes, men only spaces where men can actually discuss, the premises that you're going in there to actually open up and discuss real issues in your life, is a valid necessity. It's not that whole fallacy that we're not, that, oh yeah, we're going to open up wherever we want to just because we're men, or just
yeah.
because we're straight men, or just because we're gay men, or just because we're this. I said that doesn't happen in real life, and I don't know where they want to propagate that type of misinformation, which I think has been floating around. So that's just my opinion. That's what just what I've seen and what I've experienced. You know, if you're at a bar or at a cafe or wherever, you're not just going to divulge something that's coming through your life at a moment's notice just because you're out with a buddy.
Virginia Woolf says, I have a question. When someone has the personality disorder, like it is alleged that Amber does, do they get a pass because they can't help themselves? Seems like a convenient excuse to act poorly. Okay,
Mm,
Virginia Woolf, Amber has been diagnosed with borderline personality disorder and, gosh, what was the other one? Histrionic personality disorder. Now, it's not alleged anymore because the psychologist used the MMPI and she used another tool for it. The MMPI, now she didn't use the newest form, but the one she used is very reliable. Very reliable. And it has like
good.
500 questions on it. They've been researched and studied, and it's such that you can't fool that test. Even if you try to trick it, even if you try to analyze the questions and try to put certain ones down, thinking that it will come up with a certain diagnosis, can't do it. Even the psychologist can't manipulate it in that way. So she's got borderline personality disorder, 100%. Now, the other one for histrionic, it matches it. But with borderline, they're like chameleons. They don't know where they begin and where the other person ends. They meld into the people that they love or connect with the most. Problem with borderline is, uh, they can be violent. They can be very manipulative, etc., etc. It is a personality disorder. It is not a brain thing that you are necessarily um it's not a brain disease, let's put it that way. It's not a it's not an excuse. She can be diagnosed with it, but she's still a human being that is
Mm,
making choices. You get what I'm saying? It's kind of like a sociopath or someone that's psychotic that chooses to go out and murder someone, they're still going to go to jail for life or be placed in a facility. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
this was not a civil case,
Might have to
if
redress
this
that.
was a legal case, she could be charged for plagiarism, not plagiarism, sorry. What's the word I'm looking for, JC Bear? She could be charged for
Um,
lying in a court.
oh, I know
Perjury.
exactly what you mean.
Not plagiarism. She could be
Perjury.
charged
Perjury, yeah.
perjury. I was close. She could be charged for perjury if this was in legal court because she has lied in court. She could be in trouble. But it's a civil issue, so she can't be in trouble necessarily other than Johnny Depp winning and getting money from her. Does that make sense? Now, if she had stayed with Johnny Depp for a length of time and he had kept sticking it out, I would be concerned that this could go way badly for him because I don't think that he would go as far as to take her life, but I would be concerned it would be the flip. When she left Texas, her phone went blank.
Oop, we have a
This is
freeze.
Tom Blank. Yeah. I was going to say I'll jump in on one
What?
of Virginia.
Do what now?
You
Yeah,
froze for about
yeah,
20
you're
seconds.
freezing a little bit. Yeah,
It's this place I'm staying. She's hurt her sister. She's hurt another lover. She's hurt one of her best friends. So she does have a history of it. Anyway,
But I'm not sure if in Canada, but in the US, since it's a civil case and not a criminal one, there's a different, is there a different burden of proof?
what do you mean?
Well, because it's a civil case, does the um, mental illness factor play a part in it as a defense in a civil case versus a criminal case?
I don't think so in this civil case because it's gone so far past it.
the only main thing is that whatever comes up in it will obviously be in public record. That's probably one thing out of it though. So, if it ended up becoming a criminal case later on, if she went back and she went and tried having a go at him, well, then all of a sudden all that information that's gone through on this case here would be brought up in a criminal scenario. So it's not really a win-win for her. You know.
No,
What I was going to say is I was just reading one of Virginia's questions before. So bipolar, you don't get a free pass on bipolar. There's plenty of people bipolar, stuff like that, and it's just you can lose your footing, along the way, and have a flip and go spastic and throw a few things around. People with autism do that all the time. It does that definitely doesn't give you a free pass to be abusive to people whenever you it's not a God-given right. Let's put it that way. The schizophrenia, on the other hand, though, is a scenario where it's like, of what percentage are we talking about here? If someone is in that, they're in that mode 90% of their life, and they're not on their medications, well, that's going to make it a lot harder for someone to be able to be, charged in a criminal case with the full blown extent of the law, because a defense attorney will be able to prove that it was, that they were definitely not in their right frame of mind,
yeah,
full stop. So even though they would still get charged with something, they're not going to get charged with the full extent of the law. So mental disorders don't get excuses when it comes to when it comes to attacking people.
no,
It's the percentage of what you're given off because of the extent of your illness is what counts.
no.
Um,
Schizophrenia wouldn't get a pass, but they would go to a facility
Correct.
for
Yeah.
people with mental illness
Yeah,
disorders.
but they wouldn't end up in jail
Right.
for X amount of time. They're going to end up in a facility for X amount of time, and that's the difference.
Or
But
for life.
someone with bipolar is going to go to jail, but they'll be given assistance to deal with their mess. In their times of going and seeing counsellors and that inside. Whether they choose to do anything about it again is once again up to them because it's bipolar.
See, bipolar is manageable, treatable with medication. You can live a typical
Absolutely.
life. But if you're
Yep.
severely schizophrenic and you're hearing voices and you can't lead a life on your own, you can't take care of yourself, you can't hold down a job, you would go to a mental health facility
Correct.
possibly for years or life. That's the
Yeah.
difference.
Yep. Yep. So hopefully that gives you a bit of an answer on that one, Virginia. It's but yeah, it's very, very interesting. But I think it's one of those scenarios of where, there's so many different things. I've got family members in my family that, live on doxy, not on the dexies and all the rest like that due to they've had a chemical imbalance basically since they were born. Whether they choose to take them all the time or not, it's another story. And when I used to work with one of them in the family business, it was like you could see the days when he was taking them and you could see the days when he wasn't. And it was just like chalk and cheese. So, but once again, that's a choice. So when the days when he wasn't on it, I knew, oh, stand back, he's going to explode at something. But the days when he wasn't on it, when he was on it, he was so docile that it got to the point that it was like he was nearly like a zombie mode because he was obviously he took too many to try to cover the fact that he hadn't taken them for the days before. And so it's that pendulum. So it's yeah, it's hard, and I wouldn't want to be in that scenario. That'd be a horrible life.
Yeah.
So
Chase Ryder says, I hate to bring this up, but Johnny was too old to date her in the first place.
yeah,
He never married his kid's mother, but was ready to marry a 25-year-old without children. Maybe she's his karma. What do you think about he was too old to marry her?
now it's if when he first got married, I went, good job. But when the stuff started coming out, I started thinking, there is. I feel that there is a point that when we're talking like a good decade or a couple of decades, I think sometimes there's just a little bit of too much of a gap between some people's mentality. Some people want to go out and they still want to have fun and partying hard, and then the other one has got responsibilities and is trying to do what is the right thing, but they're looking for something fresh and new, midlife crisis material.
Hmm.
Um, it's
Yep.
but you can't blame humans for being attracted to another human. You know, but good on him for giving it a crack, but unfortunately, it just hasn't worked.
Well, sometimes people like to do a redo. Like if
Yeah,
you get married younger and you go through maybe a 20-year relationship and it finally peters out and ends,
yep,
and then they look back and they go, "Oh, I want to redo," and they automatically think, "Well, first time I got married, I was in my 20s, and I'm getting hitting it off with this lovely young woman who's also in her 20s, and we're doing." It's almost like you want to have a redo of what. So yeah, that midlife crisis, I want to redo it, or reset and do it over again, maybe differently. But going back to
yeah,
your point, it's like you change as you get older. Well, most of us change. Not everybody changes, right?
not everybody.
But most of us change as we get older, and the way we looked at things and what we want to do in our 20s is very different now when we're older on how we look at the situation or how we
Uh,
even look at people. So
yeah, I've always sat there and had the running joke with my mates that if I ended up being single again, I'd shave my head and become a monk. So it's one of those things you just I don't think I'd even want to buy a Corvette to make myself feel better in my around my 50s. No, I'm not that sort of person. But I think it's but everyone does. Even I'll even say this just because it's funny. Even my stepfather, when he hit his 50s, went out and bought a Bumblebee yellow Mazda RX-8 limited edition, the trim and all the rest of it, cruising down the road, and used to get embarrassed when got younger people would start honking their horns at him, going, "Yeah, good job," because they're looking that he's an older guy, and
Hmm.
he just loved the idea of having something new, but he didn't want the attention on him. Um, and this is what that whole thing of the midlife crisis is. It's a personal thing, but it gets displayed outwards, and then they wonder why it's frowned upon by certain people. If you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, same thing. My dad went through something similar. All of a sudden, he wanted that big old Cadillac. So he went and he bought himself a Cadillac. Now my dad was like 5'5", right? Here's this
Yeah.
little 5'5" guy, worked in construction all of his life, cruising down the streets in the suburbs in a Cadillac, and just feeling really great. And I'm like, well, Dad, if this makes you feel good, I know Mama's passed and so forth, and you always wanted one, go for it. But and then he'd stop, and here's this little 5'5" Italian getting out, going, here's my car, being all proud, and it happens. It happens to all of us. God knows what I'm going to buy next when my car goes. But hey,
Well, just don't buy him a violin case to walk around with, mate. You'll be right.
yeah. Oh my God, yeah, he could get away with it. He could.
My thought is if the person is young enough to be your kid, no bueno.
Yeah,
If you
Yeah,
could
no,
be there,
that's what I'm
if you
saying.
could,
Those couple of generations is a bit too much.
if you
yeah.
could be their parent, it's a cutoff.
Okay, I'm going to be a little weird here, but what happens if you're on vacation and you're single and you're just having fun and they like you?
I just
Turn
Come
think
your
it's
head in
too
on.
the
weird.
sand.
I think it's weird if you could actually be their parent. I think
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one.
that's the cutoff point.
Yeah,
If you could multiply your age and say, "Wow, I could actually be their dad," you need to walk away.
yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree.
Now,
Even if they're pursuing you,
if you could fudge just a
maybe I'm really bad at math. No, but
if
I,
I mean,
if you would have
maybe
been
I'm
a teenager, if you would have been a
no,
teen dad, then I would say go for it. Chase Ryder says vacation sex.
no, but I mean, it's true. There's a real difference in a relationship than just a weekend fling, or if you're really getting along with somebody and you have a vacation romance. That's a little different than getting into a real life, day to day relationship with somebody and going through it. That there's a whole bunch of different things. One is just for fun and memory, and the other one is your day to day reality that you're going to be dealing with this person.
yeah, can I throw
What if
something in
that
there?
person falls in love with you?
Yeah,
You
okay.
think it's a
I'll,
vacation romance? Go ahead.
yeah.
Okay.
So, you know what I was going to say was it's actually interesting because every single time that you get yourself physically connected to somebody, you're connected that with that person for the rest of your life, even if you and most people don't even realize that.
Mhm.
So yeah, so be mindful that as from a spiritual aspect, that every single time that you engage yourself in a physical or even a relationship of the heart, you're connected to that person. So you've got to be mindful of those little things. Even though it sounds like an awesome idea, um, I just wouldn't be I wouldn't be I wouldn't be going there, especially with someone that's old enough to be a kid. Oh heck no,
Well,
heck
even
no.
you might leave just a teeny fragment of DNA inside their body floating around somewhere and still be connected to them that way.
Yeah, sometimes that's called a child.
Yeah.
Uh, well,
Yes. Yes. Sometimes it
sometimes,
is.
but sometimes not. If it's same sex, that DNA still may be floating around somewhere. You just
Yeah,
True. True. I'm just saying that but it is very interesting because I've met people within my own age range that are, I kind of look and I go, when are you going to grow up? And yet I've met younger people who, when you actually sit down and talk to them and actually get past, oh yeah, I like that group and stuff like that, that really have themselves together.
Yeah, they're an old soul.
Yeah, like I mean, they really are um, a lovely, decent, warm, loving person. And how can you not be attracted to somebody who has, even though maybe in years they're younger, but they really have a great outlook on life and on other people.
Yep.
And that's very difficult to go, oh my God, you're such a pleasant surprise. You're such an attractive person, you
That
know?
that's why that's why a lot of people that are in their 40s and 50s, and not just some guys here as well. I'm talking about a lot of frustrated housewives get attracted to the electrician or the pool boy or something like that because they see someone that's fit and healthy and out there and energetic and going out and doing stuff, and they're really easy to talk to and a pleasant person, and it's easy to get attracted to that. And I've spent my life being a pool guy, and I promise you, there's been more than enough passes at me from women that I was in my when I was in my 20s that were in their mid 40s, and I used to make sure I held on to that pole as long as I could and got out of there as quick as I could because I wasn't dumb, but also very shy as a person. Um,
Yep.
but but it's one of those things where it's like back in the days when I had my Billy Idol blonde hair and all the rest like that, and you
That
just
Aussie surfer tan.
that's the one, yeah. But it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, at the end of the day, this even when I was back in my 20s, I even realized, you're going to get yourself tied up with something from someone. And, for some people, yeah, go for it. But definitely from a spiritual person point of view, you just got to be mindful of what you're connecting to. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, I've also had situations where, you know, some people have pursued me because we were, let's say, connected 20, 25 years ago. And they've come back to pursue. And it's kind of like, well, what's your status now? Are you single? Are you this? Are you that? And it's kind of like, do I really want to open myself up with being either, okay, the side chick or the mistress? It's like, no. It's like, no. It's like, that's a lot of overhead for little gain back on a relationship.
It's
And,
like,
and, well, you wanted real talk. It's like, and
no,
I'm
I
trying to
get it.
relate it. Yeah.
I
So
get it.
it's like, that's just a lot of overhead. And it's like, and then I think back, it's like, and I'm like, yeah, no, no. But
All
then,
right. So
but then you're presented with someone who may be 20 years younger, who, you know, is living their life, is a really good person, who, has everything together. And it's like, you look at it, it's like being the side chick or somebody that you can actually relate to that, you know, can really uplift you. And it's kind of like that's when my math goes out the window. I'm just saying. Now I do have a limit, yes, but I mean, it's just very interesting. Like,
so here's a question for you both then. What about the when we were in high school then? What about the teacher scenario? Was there a teacher that made you go all weak at the knees or anything like that? I got one for Dana. I knew I'd get that.
mhm.
So I'll,
or in
I'll,
or in
I'll jump.
college,
Yeah.
the whole
So
professor.
I had one in high school. She was my science teacher. She was Irish, fiery red hair. Every single time I used to see her, I would just go stupid. I didn't know what to do. I think I failed science that year because I didn't know how to not look. I didn't had to keep looking out the window. I couldn't even concentrate on my books, but I was like trying to duck and dive out of that class because she was just so. There was just something about her, and it was just like unreal. And then when I was 18 and I finished school, I was working at a shop, and she walked in with her mother, and she started talking about it. She's like, all of a sudden, it was like this instant connection had happened again. And obviously, I wasn't in school. And I haven't seen you for a few years. Yeah, I left school, da 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 da. I went to a different school, finished, and now I'm here. And then she said, oh, so you must be what, 25? I said, no, sorry, I'm 18. And she basically left her mum and walked out, and that was it. Gone. Never saw Tracy Lee ever again. And it was just like, so I realised back then that she actually did have, there was something going both ways there. But as soon as she found out my real age, she just realised that that gap was that thing we were talking about before. That whole, I was old enough, obviously, to be her son, and she clicked onto that, and she realised it. She was gone.
Hmm.
And I was like, that was the day when I watched that hot teacher of mine go, ta-da!
Out of your life. Yeah.
Yeah. And she knew though, that was the whole point. She figured that out for herself, and which from that perspective was great because when I was young and 18, she would have been, I reckon by then around 40, but man, I would have chased her. That's for sure. You know, I was
And
single at the time. Why wouldn't you?
and Dana, how about you?
What?
Oh, I think Dana's having technical difficulties at the moment. What? I can't hear you. You're breaking up.
Screen
You're breaking
flashing.
up.
See, the
Oh,
problem
we can have
is,
a part two of this. A part two.
I was telling Sheila Steve the other one day, when I was young, I had a problem with older men always liking me. It was a problem, and I didn't know how to handle it. So I was always trying to, um, I mean, from 14 up. But when I was in high school, there was a young coach that had the hots for me. But kind of liked him too. But I was like, "Woo, baby, breaks." Now he kissed me, and I was a cheerleader. Me and some of the cheerleaders went over there. He was like, "Come here," and he walked up the stairs, and he was like, "Let me take the bow from your hair." And I think he wanted to act like he had the bow for other reasons. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. But maybe had I been older, we don't know. But he was hot. I did have the hots. Look, I wanted to take tennis lessons just because te- the tennis coach was hot. I didn't learn very much.
I
Oh,
think we've all done that. All done that for. Well, maybe if I'm doing the same thing that they're teaching or learning, I can attract them or get to know them better. I think we've all been kind of guilty of that throughout our lives. But
Overspent it.
oh
yeah,
yeah,
so
I bought a $5,000 encyclopedia set for the chick that was hot once.
I did end up dating the tennis coach.
oh
He
Ooh.
was when he realized how old I was. So
yeah, he went no.
I was 17. I think he was 26 or 27. It wasn't
That's not
huge, but
not
still.
that bad.
But at that time, it could have gotten
Yeah,
him
back then,
killed.
Yes, yeah.
back
But
then,
I
big
mean,
deal.
when you take a look at what our grandparents and so forth, the ages that they were being married and their age disparities, that would have been quite normal.
And had my parents really known the age difference, I would have gotten killed.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a an uncle, I can kind of relate now. Prior to having nieces and nephews, I would have probably said, well, it's only 8 years," but now I can actually see, yeah, it's like no, 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 no. Maybe if you were 20 or
Yeah.
21.
But that was so sad because, oh my Lord. He looked like
Oh,
that. Who was the guy that was in the Gigolo?
Oh, Richard Gere.
Yeah, he looked like a young Richard Gere.
Nice.
Mm,
So wouldn't you have tried to go out with that? Hmm.
mm, mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I can see where you wanted to get the best tennis lessons you could in your area to achieve that sporting excellence that you were looking for.
And I didn't hit on him. I acted like I was way not interested.
Hmm.
That's
Which is
how I.
also a tactic.
Yeah, that's how I. That's how I worked it. I acted like I was way not interested in anyone.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
called the upper hand at all times.
Hmm. Very cool. But I have to leave you guys because I have to get ready for another live.
You're a busy man, and let's
Oh my God.
talk about your cooking show, please.
Oh, okay. Thank you for permission to talk about it. Myself and another gentleman who's from the US are doing a Cooking After Dark show. It goes Monday nights at 10, and we have fun with food, recipes. We actually do cook some of the recipes and show how the results are. My last foray was vegetarian chili. Yes,
Mm.
this carnivore made vegetarian chili.
I'm
Not
impressed.
bad, not bad. It was very savory, only a mild heat, and it's called Cooking After Dark. And anybody is more than welcome to submit their own creations. We like to feature.
Put your
And
link down. Put your link
oh,
in the
I'll drop my
chat.
link in the members. Cool. I don't like to do that unless I have permission
Look,
of the channel
JC
owner.
Bear, my love, my friend, you always 100% have my permission without asking.
Yes, but it's only proper that you always ask the channel owner that is letting you
That's
up on the
true.
panel
Yeah,
for
but
their
you
permission.
that is 100% true. I was just saying it to you because you've been my friend out of the gate.
Oh
But
God, yeah. But
but
still,
you are correct.
it's only proper to ask. And so yeah, so anybody can come. It is I intend to keep it a drama free channel. If anybody from any of the real like the other channels I visit, they know keep the drama out of this channel. This is about cooking, having fun with food. I do little narrations on the food. It's all good. It's all for fun, and you have a good laugh and just enjoy a nice hour and a half.
JC Bear has always loved on, supported me, taking care of me when I've gone to other channels.
It's like what? No, 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 Dana, not here. No, this is not a good. This is not a good scene right now, Dana. No.
He's like, not today, Dana. You need to leave. Don't be
Yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah. You don't need this. You do not need this. No. But
Yeah, as
thank.
Virginia Well said, Richard Gere was good looking, no doubt. Yes, he was.
Oh
So
God,
when
yeah.
this guy looked like that, I was like, I had the vapors. I just didn't let him see it.
But that's the thing. He wasn't classically good looking, but he was good looking in a way that attracted people. It wasn't that classic face or a classic physique, but he was good looking in a way that you were kind of drawn to him. You could almost
Yeah,
Had that
see like his
aura about him.
his his charisma
yeah.
in there, or maybe you just have a thing for the blue-eyed man. Maybe
No, I just got this.
no.
I've always had a thing for Steven's not necessarily what I usually went for, but I had a thing for him because of the nature of him.
Hmm.
But I typically dated dark haired, except for my doofiest first husband, dark haired men. You know, dark hair, dark eyes. But yeah, but they usually were dark haired. Don't know why. Maybe it's because my dad had jet black hair.
Could be,
Could
could
be.
be.
Hey, Shannon Van. But
Hey,
anyway, I guess
Shan.
thank you,
Hey, Shan,
JC Bear, so much. I'd like
Well,
to
thanks for
keep
having me.
doing this. Yeah,
thanks for coming up again, bro.
Oh yeah, anytime. I mean, I think this is fun, and I think it's great to be able to have our perspectives put out there, just to
it's
see
needed.
that it isn't always it's not always the greener grass where you think it is. So, but I love yous all. Big bear hugs to everybody in the chat and joining and viewing us out there, lounging around, taking us in. So don't forget, because Dana always forgets.
Yeah, I
Like,
do.
subscribe, share, and for you guys out there, come on into the chat. This is a very much a safe space, very
Come and
much where
join
you
us.
can express, what you're feeling, even though we may not understand it initially. Just come in and discuss with us, because that's what this is about. Is it's better to learn from each other than to assume things, because then we're both missing out on bettering each other's perspectives and lives. So don't be scared. Come on in. Dana doesn't bite. I don't bite. Shoeless doesn't
I
bite.
do.
Yeah, you do a little. Yeah, but but it's all good. I said that's the
Yeah.
Aussie in him. That's the Oz. Oh, sorry. That's the Aussie in him. So it's all good. And we shall see you. You're back again on Wednesday, or are you still going to be on vacation?
No, we're coming home tomorrow, and then I'm going to have to take a day of vacation from my quick vacation. I am.
and should I be bothering you in DM saying, "Are you studying?"
I'm going to start studying when I get home. Yeah. He told me
Okay.
not to mention anything about the boards, studying anything while we were here because he was trying
Yes.
to decompress me. But yeah.
Yes. Exactly. And that's the other thing, guys. Self care for yourself is also good.
And start grounding while we can. The
Hmm.
weather's allowing.
Yes, spring is finally hitting here, so it's time.
Oh my God.
Thank God he washed them this time.
It's important to ground and go barefoot and don't take your phone.
Listen, listen. We're
No
finally
electric.
getting spring. We're finally the cherry blossoms are finally coming into bloom in Toronto within the next 4 days, out in the parks. So that's something. Shan did it on her. She took us through Vancouver's cherry blossoms. I don't know if in the States you have them or in Australia,
I love them.
but ours are finally coming into bloom in the next 4 days. So it's kind of like get out there, take a nice walk, and maybe just spend an hour under a cherry blossom tree if you can. Just enjoying it for an hour. It's just kind of a nice little reset. And then go
Touch,
get yourself your favorite coffee.
touch the trees. Touch the trees. Touch the
Yes,
plants. It literally helps you lower your EMFs that are flowing through your body. Like, get it out of your body.
exactly.
Yeah.
But I shall bid you adieu. Everybody have a fun, safe weekend and enjoy the rest of it. And Dana, go relax.
I'm about to go
Enjoy.
listen to the water, eat
Listen
a
to the
little
water
bit
on
of
the
food.
balcony.
Yeah,
Have a nice dinner or enjoy a nice your favorite drink with your hubby. It's all good.
I am.
Good. Okay, see you later, everyone.
See you, bro.
Ciao. Mwah.
And Steve, don't know what I'd do without you.
So good. So good. That's what we're here for.
And I appreciate everybody in this chat, everybody that comes in, feels like family. Glad we can have these conversations. Is that Nana?
Yeah, that was Nan.
She doing okay?
Yeah. Yeah. She's wandering around. I'll have to do some stuff shortly with her though. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think she slept most of last night, so we'll try to get her to have some rest this afternoon. So, but definitely was talking in her sleep
Get
again.
back to her.
Yeah. But no, it's another day. It's another beautiful blue sky day. We've got some things to do, and yeah, no. What I was going to say as well. Yeah, we've spoken about this before, but I don't know. We haven't done had a lot with it yet. If people have got questions that they want to have answered on the next guys one, do feel free to send them through on the chats on the bottom of the session or the
Yes.
comments below. Just so we've got some things that we can start with as well, which is always a bit of a handy thing. And also, what I'm actually going to attempt to do for the next one is there's and I've sent Dana through a link of a guy. His name is Bit Cuts. He's a Instagrammer and YouTube guy, and he actually goes around giving people free haircuts.
I've seen
And
him.
yeah, I
I
sent you a
like
link to him a
him.
while ago. And he's young guy. He's covered in tats. Um, so inspirational. He just gets in there and he asks questions about where people are going and what they want to achieve. And um, I've just really enjoyed seeing his little short vids and stuff. So I'm going to over the next couple of months. I'm actually going to try to connect with him, engage with him, and invite him to come up on in here with us all
Yeah, I
because
love that.
I think it'd be really awesome to have to try to make this guys spot when we can. Different guys, different scenarios, different different ways of relating with people. It doesn't matter if you're from the hood or if you're if you're a homeless person. I don't care if you've got something to share. It'd be really nice to let people have a bit of a place where they can just come and feel like they can be at home and be themselves and be open. As JC was saying before, it's just so important.
Hmm.
So that's my hope that we can do here. Hopefully we can make it happen. So
I would love that. Yeah, I love that guy. I love how he engages with them and just wants to hear their story. And he did someone a musician recently,
mm,
even.
yep,
So I think he knew he was a musician, but yeah, he just down to earth with him.
yeah, that's right. So no, and he's done all sorts. So he's done sports people and he's done musos and he's even gone into barber shops and offered people to do haircuts in people's barber stores and do a haircut. The person still takes money, but he gets to still talk to that person, and so he's not taking money away from people.
Yeah,
He's sitting there going, "Oh, if it's okay, can I do the haircut for free?" And barbers stores are actually happy for him to go in there because, yeah, why wouldn't you? So if I can get Vic on that, I think that would be really awesome. I think that'll take a little bit of work because he is very popular. But
yeah,
but if saying that once again, if anyone in the actual channel knows of anyone that you feel deserves to be recognised, let us know because
yeah.
I'd love to you know empower guys to be able to share their thoughts and their feelings. That's what it's all
Oh,
about.
definitely. I mean, I would like the guys not to be afraid.
Yep.
Just not to be afraid to speak what's from the heart. Talk about what bothers them.
Yep. That's it.
But anyway, I greatly appreciate you so much. You know I do.
Not a problem. All right. Well, I'm going to jump off because I'm going to go and sort out some stuff that I need to do. But
Yeah,
guys, have an awesome week. Look after yourselves, and just remember, wake up in the morning and just remind yourself how much of an awesome thing it is that we're actually up and we're awake and we get to experience life and get to enjoy the moment, regardless of whatever goes on. It's a lesson and it's an experience, and um, yeah, don't take it for granted because a lot of people don't get to wake up. So yeah, on that note, love yous all. Take it easy, and we'll be in touch. See you.
bye. Bye. And for everybody else, thank you for coming to Dear Dana. Appreciate you so much. Enjoy your week. I will see you on Wednesday. Love and light and blessings. And remember, your tribe, your vibe attracts your tribe. Ugh, appreciate you all. Take it easy. And there we go. Thank you, Shelly. Thanks to all my mods. And ah, I don't have my mouse. What am I going to do? Use my fingers. Bye, everybody. Have a good one. Let me find. Ah, there we go. Bye. Oh, please like, share, and subscribe. Till next time.